Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the collaboration of Bronx Sports Jedi Network, A to Z Media, all sports, all talk, all the time. Let's run the intro. We hope to see you. Let's get it. Salute, everybody. We are live and in color from the Jedi Studios here, our first collaboration program, BX Sports Jedi Network, A to Z Media. Salute to all the Jedi Sports and Jedi family and A to Z Nation. Salute everyone that welcome aboard. Z, what's up, man?
Not much, man. Riding off a high from my Cowboys, riding off a high from my channel, and I just wanted to thank you to the A to Z Media Network, the family over my channel, that for hitting me 11,000 views on my first watch along stream, and over 100 likes, doubled my subscriber count. And I don't, it's all about you guys, and it's all Kevin helping me. I got a great team, and over there, and I got a great fan base. So I just wanted to thank everybody and thank Kev for giving us that, and everybody subscribe to both of us. We're doing this as a team. It's probably going to be a weekly thing, and I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
What's going on? I want to salute James Ultra in the building, Caden and White Falcon. Salute, man. White Falcon, man. I heard the bad news of PG-13, but we'll get to basketball. We're going to talk about all sports, guys, so bear with us with we're going to start off with football, and we're going to do basketball, but just bear with us, tolerate us a little bit, because we're coming off a big high on the football network yesterday from A to Z Media. They had 11,000 viewers, double their subscribers, so football on his content, on his channel, is going really good, but we got a lot to talk about the NBA. We're going to talk about the NBA in whole, so I am excited. But let's get the rice and beans out of the way so we can get into the main course, which is the NBA. But let's start off with the National Football League. A game that we saw. To me personally, I call it the Septic Bowl. The Septic Bowl is the New York Jets against the Jaguars, because unfortunately, I am a Jet Giant fan. So I'm going to talk a little bit about them. So tolerate it with me a little bit there. So shout out. Yes, indeed. So Z, yesterday afternoon, the Jets played the Jaguars yesterday. They got a squeezing cheeks victory over them. Salute to John Hoffner in the building.
John did the Redskins. It's a football team, but no, they did not win.
John was wonderful from one of our friends from the Canadian border. So salute to John from last night in the program with us. Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, the 1-2 pick in the draft. What's your thoughts on that game before we get some numbers in?
Well, I thought, both teams are going through a lot of turmoil. They've had a reputation of a little bit more poorly run organizations. No offense, Kev, but in my opinion, the team with the better head on their shoulders prevailed. I know they're both bad teams right now fighting for draft position, but the Jets have. I know you're not sold on Robert Saleh yet, but I think he's a really good young coach in the making. I think they got a better organization now that they've gotten rid of all the tumultuous people from last reign, and the Jaguars they just fired their head coach who just kicked his own kicker in the face. They got all sorts of stuff going on down there. They should have went for just the extra point instead of going for 2 a few times, and that cost them in that game. But the team that played better football and was a more well-run organization that had less turmoil was the one that came out on top, Kev. I think both young quarterbacks are very talented. I think they got some building blocks. They just got to build around their quarterbacks, and they'll end up being good teams in the distant future.
Yeah, you said it well said there. I just want to answer a question to John. John, who you got tonight? The Saints plus 3.5 or Dolphins? I'll take the Dolphins and the over. I think they're going to cover. I think they'll win tonight. They're on a hot streak. They're 7 in a row. Coach Flores, I like it. Put your money on the Dolphins. Remember, bet with your head, not over your head, guys. I'm just a guy who watches sports. I'm not a guru, but if me personally, by my free money, 3.5 point, I'll take the Dolphins. I think I like Tua by I think they win by 6-point victory, 24-17, somewhere around there. Yep, he took the Saints. Okay, all right. You think it's going to be a closer game?
He also took the Redskins last night. I mean, the football team last night. My apologies. Jones got me messing up.
Plex server. Salute, Plex. Salute.
Yes. Salute, Plex. How you doing?
Back to the game yesterday, both guys pretty much almost evenly matched there. The Jets as a whole, as a team, they had 378 total yards on offense, 100 was passing, and 273 yards rushing. Me as a Jet fan, I love it. It's not the most sexiest, it's not the most prettiest. It could be boring. I watched the game. Yes, I'm one of the few that still watches New York Jet football. I had a split screen between the Septic Bowl and the Porta Potty Bowl between Philadelphia and the Giants. I love my Giants, I love my Jets, but I got to call it as it is. They were. It wasn't a pretty sight last night. But both games, I loved it. 273 yards rushing for New York. They averaged 6.3 yards per play on offense. They had 18 first downs. They were 4 of 12 on 3-point conversions and 3 of 5 for fourth down conversions. They only allowed 1 sack. They had 7 penalties for only 94 yards. They had 27 minutes of time of possession. Zach Wilson was 14 out of 22 with 102 yards. He had a touchdown. He also carried the ball for 4 times for 91 yards. He averaged around 22.8 yards running play, and he had a running touchdown. So salute G-Man in the building. Salute. Happy holidays, my main man G-Man. So the Jets, you saw that. Michael Carter as well, 16 carries for 118 yards. Finally, the Jets got someone. I think it's been over 4 years that they have someone finally running over 100 yards and average 7.4 yards a carry. And they spread the wealth. They had Coleman run for 14 carries, 57 yards, 4.1 yards rushing, and Boston Berrios had a 104-yard kickoff return. He played really well. Like he's playing that he wants a job next year, and it showed. And for the Jets, they held Terrence Lawrence 208 yards, 26 out of 39 passing. Nothing right home about. They were 250. They 252 passing yards, 132 yards rushing for the Jaguars, a 5.4 yards per play. They had 27 first downs. They were 6 of 13 for third down conversion, and they actually were 2 for 3 for fourth down conversions, and they had only 1 penalty for 10 yards. So wow, for a team
wins you games.
That which they were close. They didn't win, but they were close there. And my take with the New York Giants. I mean, we'll get to the Giants in a moment too, because I know the big man G-Man is in the building, so we'll like to. I know he would like to hear what I have to think about the Giants. So
at least what you have to think. I don't know if you want to hear what I have to think.
So with the Jets, I want to see how Zach Wilson finishes out the season, how does he look on offense? If he's making the right throws, the right reads, hitting his receivers in stride, and right now I kind of like the way the offensive line is helping him, and I only allow one sack, although a couple hurries. But one thing that shows really good line achievement is the 200 plus yards in total rushing for the running backs. That means they could ground and pound going into next season, keep the line intact, add a little sprinkles, and I like where we're going with that. Now on the defensive side, Zach, I like, our safeties are really raw, but they're playing, they're learning on baptism on the fire. Ever since they inserted, they've been playing a little more better. They're the cornerbacks. And also, I think with a year progress, another year training camp offseason program, and adding a couple guys in the draft and maybe a few free agent safety or whatsoever, Marcus May returning, and I think we'll be okay. I think the Jets are trending up the right way. I like McCannon, smart moves. Every draft, if you look at his draft, all the guys he bought in, making the deals. He turned Jamal Adams, who was a hybrid linebacker, into a first-round picks, and phenomenal move. And bringing on players in here, the two Michael Carters are going to be both really good players for this team, but the safety and the corner and the running back, they both named Michael Carter in the late rounds. So that's is where if you're progressing is in your late rounds of your draft picks. And so far you could see that they're developing slowly. It's not to our liking, because I personally, as a Jet fan, I want to see my team already in contention at least and be more competitive. Next year, as a team, they have to show us they're competitive and stay within games going forward.
Well, they have. They've showed that they can be competitive in games. They showed that they drafted well, but they've also added quality depth well in the right positions. Mike White, former Cowboy draft pick, had a really good game for the Jets this year. Showed he could be a backup. You got Tevin Coleman from the 49ers, who is a really good running back. You have a bunch of different guys who are good, but and to both of your teams, with the to both the teams with the Jets and the Jaguars, as far as is concerned, they just need talent in the draft. They need to continue to go best player available. They need to continue to just get acquired talent and cut cap casualties. For example, like Miles Jack for the Jaguars and CJ Mosley for the Jets. Look to move them, because although they're really good football players, they're more suited on a contending team. And they're just eating up salary cap for your team at this point. You need to get young guys, and like you said, throw them into the fire, continue to have them learn. And it's I'm anxious to see how much time they give Zach Wilson and Saleh and the organization in New York to actually build something, because you hit on it. They're drafting really well. It's just going to take time. They always say, I always say, I don't know if they always say, but it takes 5+ years to build a dominant program, whether it's college, football, high school. You need more time than 2-3 seasons. So hopefully they give them some time.
I'm glad you mentioned that. This is the second year of Douglas as general manager. He's got a 6-year deal with the Jets. And when he took the job, he, wanted, I think it was not Woody Johnson, the other Johnson brother, said, listen, if you're going to hire me as a general manager, I need 6 years. I need you to guarantee me 6 years, because I'm going to need that full complementary of time to build you something. The first year, we know it took a hiccup with Adam Gase and so forth. This is year 2. Saleh, the jury's still out. The only thing I want to see teams more a little more competitive, but they're showing progression later down the road. He's supposed to be a defensive guru, and the defense really stunk for the New York Jets. That's my only concern in that aspect. I think, Rule as the offensive coordinator, not bad, heading in the right direction. He's also young, first time as an offensive coordinator. Excuse me, LaFleur. I said Rule. I said LaFleur. So yep. I was thinking of Matt Rule. So LaFleur, the young Matt LaFleur, and I can see that he's a young head coach, and I hope that he learns second year, develop more. I think he's going to be more hungry to be more creative, more innovative. And I think the Jets next year, I think you're going to see improvement, at least competitive in more games going forward. Now, we talked about the, I guess not so good. We'll talk about, the ugly. We talked about the bad. Now let's talk about the ugly. I'm sorry. Big Blue. Big Blue is a little bit on the ugly side. It's reminding me of the 70s, the Giants in the 70s. Wow, dysfunction. They took, first of all, they took a defeat in the Porter Potty Bowl at the Meadowlands yesterday, 34-10 to the stinky Eagles, the manure eating Eagles. And the Giants, we have questions. The Giants are looking like as if they're going to get a new GM. They're, Joe Judge, of course, Willington Mara says he might stay, give him the endorsement to return, which I think I'm okay with that. But
you sure about that?
I'm okay with Joe Judge. Let me tell you why. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to elevate the young assistant GM and general manager. I escapes my name, and allowed to get him in to retire. Although Getterman, be honest with you, does not deserve to have to go out gracefully with retirement. He should have been fired because his record as a general manager stunk. I think he's 4 and something. He's terrible. He's just terrible. We could talk about Saquon Barkley being drafted, and that's another situation. I don't think you don't cut Saquon Barkley. Here's the reason: you let him go to the 5th year, because either way, it's going to be a $7 million cap hit. What you do is you bring him back. You want to incorporate him in the special teams, running pound back, or just use him third down. There's only $7 million. You could probably move him for that kind of money for 1 year and try to get a 4th round pick. Although you're selling him for nickels on the dollar. But in that case, just keep him 1 more year, let him go on to prove it. And one thing about Saquon Barkley, he's showing us that he's turning back the clock. And why? When usually you have the Achilles rupture, it takes 2 years of recovery in order to get back. Some players break the narrative, but it might need 2 years to recover for Saquon Barkley. Now, the quarterback. Enough with the Glennon situation. I know Fromm did not look at all good. The offensive line, it was atrocious. I think the Nate Solder experiment, he needs to go. I think they need to, this upcoming year in the draft, they got 3 first-round picks. If you're them, you really got to get some strong offensive linemen, and you need a pass rusher. And we'll break that down later in the future. I can't wait to break it down with Michigan and so forth. They have a lot of good players, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, defensive linemen that get to the quarterback. And they also need to beef up that offensive line big time, especially if they want to run the football. I think, we're an East Coast team. We need to run the football. We need a player a game manager for now, a stopgap. And I don't think in this draft coming up, I don't see a franchise quarterback, Zach.
I see one that has a chance, but there was a lot to break down. So for the Giants, the problem I had with them against the Eagles is you're probably going to lose that game. The Eagles are fighting for a playoff spot. You guys have nothing to play for. Why is Mike Glennon even in the game? No offense to Mike Glennon, he's a journeyman backup, but he always will be that. Jake Fromm was a 7th round pick of the Colts, Indianapolis Colts, I believe. Could be wrong, but Indiana, he was a 7th round pick that never got a shot, was on multiple different teams. So, he never really got a chance in the regular season, and he looked good in last week's game. So you give him a chance against a playoff team. Yeah, he might look bad, but there's no reps like game reps. And what does it matter if you lose the game? You're getting a better draft pick. So you find out what you have in him. Maybe you have him as a cheaper option for a backup over Mike Glennon. But when it comes to them, Andrew Thomas was a good pick. They got to get another tackle. And people need to stop just blaming the quarterback when things go wrong. I get it. I make fun of Daniel Jones. I call him Danny Turnovers more than I call him Danny Dimes. But when you're not getting blocked for, when your running back is a overhyped pile of garbage, no offense, that's the Cowboys talking. Saquon's horrible. He's big for no reason. Instead of running people over, he tries to go side to side. He's too cute. He doesn't do what his body's built for. You need to get rid of him. You need to, because Devontae Booker has ran harder and better than him this whole season. So, you have running game. You need to get rid of him. He's going to have a big contract coming up. You have to get linemen. You have to continue to get receivers. But Kenny Galladay has been a problem with drops, and Evan Ingram's been horrible drop issues. So when you're throwing the ball, the receivers are dropping passes. You're getting hit. You're getting hurt because linemen won't block for you. I'd like to see Daniel Jones come back on his player option before they sign him. Draft a few offensive linemen and get some more weapons and see what he's got. See what he's got when he's actually being protected. Because in the games that I've watched and he's been protected for, he's had good games. He's a dual threat quarterback. Taking care of the ball is an issue for every young quarterback, short of a few that I can name off the top of my head that were all-time greats or going to be all-time greats. But even, Patrick Mahomes is still young, and turnovers are an issue for even him this year. So it happens when you're running for your life. Turnovers are an issue. But I think I'm not too sold on their coach. I think he was another failed Belichick coaching tree gone wrong, and I think you'll see him back in New England as soon as he's fired from the Giants. But they need a no-nonsense, motivating coach that's also a player's coach that helps develop Daniel Jones. And I don't know, the Mara family is a very good organization, a good family. They'll get it right. It's not a matter if, it's when. They're normally a well-run organization. As long as they draft right, I think they have a chance.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned Joe Judge. Billington John Mara, said he wants stability. He doesn't, one of his big mistakes, he didn't allow Ben McAdoo time to implement his team. You can't win in the NFL hiring and firing coach after 2 years. You got to let them play out. You got to let them coach. You got to let them build a program. And if you keep changing, we've seen it with our New York Knicks, the changing of the quarter of the head coach, changing this and changing that every 2 years, every year. And all you do is you spin in a hamster's wheel of turd. And you don't want to be in a hamster wheel of turd. You want stability. You want winning. And I think give Judge another year here. You elevate the assistant GM, let him be the general manager for you give him a 2-year deal, but it's really 1 year. Prove it, and we'll see what we do, what we attack. So we definitely got you on that. Attack and listen to what Mara says. Let him or build the program here, and then after next year, you're not competitive. And this is what the Mara family and the Giants always pride themselves. Are we playing meaningful football in December? That's their mantra. Kelvin T. Jones, salute Kelvin T. Jones, salute Jay Boogie as well. And of course, G-Man and White Falcon in the building. So I want to salute you guys. Thank you for joining, and thank you for getting that chat busy there. So I appreciate you guys. We see and the Giants, they gotta go with that mantra. They gotta have stability. You can't look at, and I'm not saying we're and these guys pride themselves as being one of the royalty of the NFL. D. Rooney out in Pittsburgh, they only have a handful of coach. They don't change coach often. I think they had 4 coaches in the whole franchise at best, maybe 3 if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And stability. Let the guy rebuild, and have program. I think Judge is a no-nonsense head coach. He's good, but his mistake, and not his mistake. I want to blame the ownership. They put in Jason Garrett in here. Now, Freddie Kitchens didn't show anything either. And also, when my point is, they needed to have him bring his own offensive coordinator, his own offensive line coach. It all started last year, the ripple with Colombo being let go and so forth. And then, Garrett stood there. Garrett was used as a scapegoat. Don't get me wrong. He was a scapegoat of this whole season. It was not his fault. As a matter of fact, with Jake Fromm, going forward, I would have liked Jason Garrett to be the offensive coordinator here because, Freddie Kitchens was supposed to be this guy that was going to innovate. We're going to get him like Baker Mayfield, and we're going to, get him going. Great
job with that in Cleveland.
Great job. Right? And he never got to play with him. He got his neck injured. So, and also that's a big mystery, Zach. Now with the quarterback, Jones, is he going to be healthy enough? What kind of severity is that neck injury? Is this life-threatening or career-threatening? That might not be the same. We know about neck injuries. They could be tricky. And the thing that worries me, there is no quarterbacks out there but stopgaps. You want to see Teddy Bridgewater? Everyone loves to throw that name around. Oh, we get Teddy Bridgewater. It's a stopgap. If you want, then you're going to have Teddy Bridgewater, and you're going to have a young kid that you think has a potential or an ability that might surprise us. So it is a lot, and it still look bleak for the New York Giants. It still looks uncertain. You're also gonna have Mitchell Trubisky out there. And then there's the names, the sexy names, the dream names, Russell Wilson. But then that means you're gonna give up your whole entire draft for all those nice picks. You might win. For your window is gonna it's gonna go to 2-year type of window. But then after that, you're rebuilding. You're back at the hamster wheel of turd. So.
And you're not going to win a Super Bowl. You're not going to win a Super Bowl if you trade for Rodgers or Wilson or any of those. I mean, Rodgers has a better team in Green Bay, and Wilson's showing you what he can do with a terrible team in Seattle right now, which is nothing. They're both on the twilight of their career. And if you take them to the Giants when you got the whole team, They're just going to be running for their life just like Daniel Jones, and they're going to be hurt just like Daniel Jones. So you actually have to build it right. You have to draft. And even if you get rid of Daniel Jones, you're going to be set back if you get a franchise quarterback or you get whoever in the next draft that you think's going to be the guy. He's going to come in just like Daniel Jones did to a terrible team who's not going to block for him, who's not going to do anything for them, not going to put him in a good position to succeed. And you're going to be saying the same thing in 3 months.
I think if you have an opportunity to get an Aaron Rodgers, I think you might listen. You might have to listen to that conversation. And reason is because you will get at least to the second round at minimum. Second round of the playoffs.
What team? Who's he gonna block for him? Who's gonna catch the ball?
Well, you could bring in linemen. You could get some linemen. Remember the NFL. What beauty about the NFL? I know it's a salary cap league, and the salary cap. Free agency starts in March. Then you have your draft. Then you have your second round of draft cuts, cap casualties that you could sign on the cheap. Guys that want to stay in the league and pick up on a job. You could pick up linemen and bring guys in here and so forth. And you could. I know it's not. You're going back to the hamster wheel of turds, but there is not right now a young franchise quarterback. The only name that I could think of too, and you hoping that Rodgers do go into San Francisco, like they're saying. Then you got Jimmy Garoppolo, Garoppolo with Joe Judge, and he's not the sexy name either. And I know guys are going to say he's not the franchise quarterback, but this draft class doesn't allow it to have. And you can say even the Saquon Barkley draft class. No one knew that Lamar Jackson was going to be this kind of quarterback because he was taken later. Almost 30th. The whole league, 30th. Almost the whole league passed on him as well. Jimmy Garoppolo is better than Daniel Jones, guys, or it's either be Sam Darnold, Jimmy Garoppolo, Teddy Bridgewater, or you bring back Daniel Jones who knows the system.
Kenny Pickett is a guy. If you're going to draft a quarterback this year, he's going to be the best quarterback in this draft. Kid from Pittsburgh, he was a Heisman finalist. Worked hard. Had a bad couple, not bad, average first couple of years at Pitt, and his fifth year senior. Ended up in the Heisman conversation with the best. I mean, he's the most pro-ready quarterback. He's going to be really, 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 really good. And if you can get him, he's mobile. He's smart. He's the fake slide guy. He's quick on his feet. You can end up doing something with him if you build a team, continue to build a team around him. And you could have him for a decade plus. If I'm the Giants, I'm making a run at Kenny Pickett.
Okay. And also, I just mentioned Lamar Jackson. He has not signed an extension in the Ravens also. I'm not saying he's going to leave the Ravens. That's a ridiculous move. But he's also could be out there. You never know. I know I've told Giants fans, you do not want to take Lamar the young man in Texas. Deshaun Watson. Excuse me. Deshaun Watson. Stay away because there's a lot of illegal issues with him. We don't know. The league hasn't addressed it. If he's going to be suspended by, what's the situation? There's still a criminal investigation, a civil investigation as well in the city of Texas. So great talent. If he didn't have the off-field problems, I wanted him for the Jets, to be honest with you. But it is what it is. So it sucks because we don't know who we want to see. I want to see the Giants back and be competitive. Give me some competitive games on the floor. It's and he's like G-Man said, he's a dumpster fire. No way, no how.
Another thing you can do if you're a Giants is tread water, like you said, with a Jimmy Garoppolo. Get a guy that's a game manager that's going to not lose you a game. He might not win you many games by himself, but he won't lose you a single game by himself. And tread water until Cooper Manning's son comes out of the draft, Arch Manning, because that kid is, I think he's 2 or 3 years away, maybe 4, but that kid is dynamite. They're already saying he's going to be better than his uncle Peyton and his uncle Eli. He's already saying he's better than both of them. So, and the Mara family, of course, would love to have another relationship with the Mannings. And I bet you that's on Giants' radar as well. So they look for him to keep Daniel Jones around for another year or two and try to tread water the way they are and build a team around a Manning brother or a Manning family member that's comes to a team that's already assembled, maybe.
Yeah, so you could see around the league, guys are really, really desperate for quarterbacks. There's the quarterback play. Everyone needs quarterbacks. It'll be interesting. I think I believe this NFL season is going to be a lot of quarterbacks moving, rumors and so forth. It will be interesting to see. But as that game yesterday in the Porta Potty Bowl at the Meadowlands, the Giants lost 34-10. 34-10 in your home against a divisional rival. Eagles improved to 8-7. Have a shot at the playoffs. This is where we wanted the Giants to be. I wish we could switch. We would have switched position. 8-7. They brought in Jalen Hurts. They trusted him to play. They gave him the keys to the Ferrari, to the Pinto, because that's what the Eagles are, a Pinto. And they were 8-7, on their way to the playoffs. I think they don't make it. I think they'll fall short. I think they'll get a flat on the way. But wow, Philly 324 total yards, and they passed for only 194 yards passing. They ran for 130 yards, nothing sexy. Got 17 first downs. They were efficient, 5 out of 13 from three down conversions. They gave up a sack. Jalen Hurts, nothing sexy. The numbers don't say what the heck happened to the Giants, and it's just because we had terrible quarterback play. Jake Fromm only had 25 yards passing, 25 or 53 yards passing around there. It was terrible. It was just bad. It was bad. I had the split screen. I kept more an eye on the Jet game, and it was hard to try because, my God, that was a rough game. Salute to everyone that was at the watching that game live in Philly. That was just took football back years. Took football back a long time, and this is what gets us frustrated because Giants are hard to watch, and you'll see other teams bring in their backup quarterbacks, and they move the freaking ball up and down. You had Josh Johnson moving the ball for the Ravens, and he was on the Jets practice squad. It shows that it's the scheme, it's the offensive system or the play calling, because if backup quarterbacks from other organizations that were in practice squad come in from the street and able to still move the ball around and look good, there's something going on in the offensive scheme coaching wise.
Yeah, and like it's more than that. And to touch on the Eagles too, I wanted to give them some props. When you talk about since week 8, they've been leading the league in rushing yards a game. And you got Jalen Hurts, who was a really good game manager at Alabama and opened his game up in at Oklahoma when he transferred. You have a team that's built perfectly around Jalen Hurts to make the playoffs. You have a good defense. I wouldn't say great, but they have Darius Slay from Detroit, who's done better since he's been traded there. You have and Kyle Sheridan. Salute to the chat. I had just talked to Bronx about inviting you on, so let's post a link there, I'll get the link sent to Kyle. My apologies, but just bear with me for a second. Let me make this point, and then I'll do it. But as far as Jalen Hurts, you end up having a team around him. They're playing improved defense. They're running the ball extremely well. And now that you let Jalen Hurts be Jalen Hurts. You know what I mean? Don't lose games. Run if he look good through your first 2 reads. If it's not there, dart off into the second level and get some yards and get first downs. And they've been doing that. They've been beating good teams. They've been beating up on bad teams, as they did this week. No offense to the Giants fans. They're a terrible team. But it's been good to see, because it's not just one team in the NFC East this year. The Washington football team's been competitive. The Eagles have been competitive. I ain't gonna speak about my team yet, but we all know. As regardless of what it is, at least the NFC East is competitive, and I think the future is trending up for every single team in the division. The Giants just have to make a few critical choices and critical decisions that might not be the easiest decision. It might be the hard decision, but in the long run, it'll be the best decision.
And this draft is very important for them. They have a lot of draft picks. They have they gotta, one thing is they have to really collaborate and see what system they want. That's why I want to keep them in their right place. RT Basketball, salute. And speaking of the NFC East, we want to, and yes, I know I am a Giants fan, but I'm going to say it. Congratulations to the Cowboys of winning the NFC East title. As we saw last night on A to Z Media, phenomenal job. He did the watch along. I helped him produce it. We did the watch along. Phenomenal, excellent. 11,000 plus viewership, double his subscribers. We see RT Basketball, part of that network. We see many others that are joining us tonight from his channel. They're the A to Z Nation. They're the A to Z Nation teaming up with the BX Sports Jedi family. So it's wonderful to see both our families together talking football. We're going, guys. We're going to talk about football, then we're going to go into the basketball, then the Major League Baseball. So we're going to cover everything in a nutshell, but we're not going to be too long on winter. We want to keep your attention and we want to make sure that you're entertained. But hopefully we'll get Kyle in, and we'd like to get his football perspective about his Patriots. But before we go forward, let's talk about your Cowboys 50-14 dropping of the Washington football team. Zach, it's all yours, my friend.
And if I can, just wanted to say real quickly, and as Kyle comes in, hello Kyle, how have you been? Good to see you. But I just wanted to say for everybody that's thank you again for the 11,000 views, for doubling my subscriber count, for helping me reach milestones I never thought was possible. Thank you, Kev, for producing. Thank you, everybody, for just helping me out. But at the same time, I wanted, while we have some time, go follow Kyle at KS Realm Kyle on Twitter. While we're here, go follow A to Z Media Network for people on Bronx Sports Jedi's platform, and for people that are tuning in from me and that are going to be tuning in. Follow them both. Subscribe to them both. Also talking with KPG, other great Cowboys fans, great channel, great content. So salute to them. But as far as my Cowboys go, man, we did what I thought it was a trap game. I thought it was going to end up being, since they found out about a half hour to 45 minutes before the game that they had already clinched. Thank you to the Las Vegas Raiders. I thought they were going to come out and lay an egg and be the normal Cowboys when there's no pressure. They come out slow. They did not. They did not come out slow right away. Diggs got another turnover. Then we started moving the ball. Dak looked great. 4 touchdowns in the first half, 300 yards. Threw the ball 40 times in the first half, which I don't like. But even when we ran the ball, we were effective with Zeke and Pollard both. It's a good game to rest everybody, and it's a good game to continue to keep Zeke, Pollard, Dak, and the crew fresh come postseason time. And the defense looked excellent again, as they always do this year.
Good job there. And also, you scored on special teams. Remember,
block punt for a touchdown, winning in all 3 facets.
Let's bring in Kyle. Salute, Kyle. What's going on, my man?
What's up? I'm happy to be here. Congratulations on an amazing Dallas Cowboys watch along.
Thank you, sir.
I mean, what a game to watch along.
Yeah, what a good first watch along to pick, right?
We got a big guy touchdown. That's a W for everybody. I don't care who you're a fan of. Anytime a big man score, we had like 4 this weekend.
Yep. It was Marcus Lawrence and Terrence Steele.
It was a great weekend for you.
Yeah. It's still, what did I tell you though when we did our first stream on A? You were the first stream on A to Z Media Network with me. What did I tell you about the Patriots? They're going to be a playoff team.
Yeah, no, I said this recently. If we just make the wild card, hell, if we make the divisional, I'll be happy, because I don't expect us to have making the Super Bowl. I don't expect us winning the Super Bowl, because I think we're still getting into that rhythm. I think we're still trying to figure out who we are, and I think we still need more pieces. I think we need an established wide receiver 1. I think we need more depth at corner. We got banged up. We lost Jonathan Jones, and that was big. And hell, like, our amazing running back depth was bonkers, because we lost James White, and then recently we had Stevenson was out for the weekend. So I'll be happy. I'm happy with this team. This is the best team. Like, this is the most close I've ever felt with a team before, even in all the Brady years. Like, this team, I'm like, I really want to see them bloom and go into their own. But there are a lot of teams that I'm rooting for in the absence of a Super Bowl for the Patriots. Cowboys would be cool because my dad's a fan. Bills would be great because they need one. Bengals would be fantastic. I think that'd be amazing for them. Then the Browns would hate them even more, because then the Browns are the odd man out. There's so much to love about this Patriots team. That's why I love them. You got Harris, Mac and Cheese, and then big old Barmore, who's been the most, I think, underrated nose tackle in the league right now. One of the most. I don't understand how he slipped to the second. I don't think he should have. He's a first round talent by far.
Well, you had Kinlaw, and you had a bunch of other guys that were just higher graded at the combine. That's why they ended up, grading out over Barmore. But I knew he was going to be something special as soon as I was watching tape and paid attention to the combine.
Also,
let me ask you
yeah,
this, Kyle.
yeah.
Going forward, this yesterday's game. Give us a recap of yesterday's game. Did
Okay.
the Patriots did not get their running game going because Buffalo is atrocious against the run. And I thought Belichick was going to first matchup, or was it an adjustment from the Bills from the first matchup in that terrible cold weather and I think it was like a snowstorm. Was it a better performance from Buffalo adjusting to Belichick's game, or they just didn't have the running game going for them?
We had the running game. That's the problem wasn't the running game. The problem was we didn't put more effort. We didn't. I wanted another 3-throw game from Mac Jones. We had Damian Harris. The man had over 100 yards and 3 touchdowns. The running game was great. What we didn't have was a commitment to it. And I in part blame McDaniels. I think he's playing far too conservatively. I think he needs to be aggressive. When we went for it on 4th down, I almost didn't believe it because we never do. And Mac Jones is going to have rookie games. It's inevitable. I think this was a rookie game. His accuracy was off. We also did not have a lot of our receiving room was just down. And the Bills are a great team with a running game that is, Josh Allen can't be your best runner on that game. All right.
Yeah,
but
sorry.
no, you're good.
And 1 first down. They were 1 of 10 from 3 third down deficiency of conversion. Ugh.
God save the AFC East if the Bills end up getting Kenneth Walker out of Michigan State. They get him, they have a legit running back, and then they can just build up that front line, and they'll be scary because Diggs isn't going anywhere, and Allen has really come into his own. This was a game that was close, and it should have been closer. Because we know we can keep up with them. And I'm gonna say I'm really sad about Harry. Harry showed a lot of promise. He was amazing in the run game, but you can't keep a wide receiver that's just good at blocking. You got to keep a wide receiver that can do both. And I gave him a shot. I gave him a shot with Brady, with Newton, and now with Jones. And it's not the quarterback not giving them ball. It's not, ball placement. It hit him in the hands. Wow. You can't I wanted him to catch it. I wanted him to have a breakout game so badly, and it just wasn't there. And defensively, we got to let Dante Hightower go. It's his time. Okay. He's getting old. He's getting slow. He's not making tackles. I think Jawan Bentley can step up. I think we can find. I mean, we got McGrone, who's been on IR, but I think he can really. I think we're good. Belichick will always find a way to get good linebackers. I think Bentley. I think Hightower's got to go. I don't think Mills is the answer. I think he's a good depth player, but I think he really needs to be on that 3rd position. Keep him in zone. He's better in zone. And injuries didn't help us, but at the end of the day, they were way better in every phase of the game. We were given chances, but we did what we have been tending to do, which is we shot ourselves in the foot. And we kept trying to run, but we kept shooting. There were some calls I would have liked back, but that's not even a Patriot issue. That's a league issue. There have been some bad calls in non-Patriot games. I can't even be that upset because as much as Patriots hate the Bills, I love the Bills because of my mom, and I want to see him win a Super Bowl so badly. So I'm glad at least we made it look close. We made it seem more like a game, and it was competitive. It was not. We weren't the football team. We were not the football team. We weren't getting destroyed. That was unfair. After the 2nd quarter, I'm like, stop it. Just stop the game. Hey, let's calm down now.
But kudos to Mac Jones. He was 14 out of 32, 145 yards. But they passed 32 times. I mean, wow.
We only ran it 27.
And Harris, Harris had 18 carries, 100 yards, 5.7 yards per carry. Man, 3 touchdowns.
I don't understand where McDaniel's head is at, because in my mind, if we're inside the 10-yard line and we're in there, it has to go to Harris. I don't care if they even know that it's going to go to Harris, because we just run it up the gut, because our interior line, our guards and our center, nothing is going to get through them. Jacob Johnson, which I believe is pronounced slightly differently, and so I'm just gonna. I think it's Jacob Janssen. Jakob, maybe he's German, and it's cool.
Probably Jakob.
He's a phenomenal fullback. We've always believed in the fullback, and you get a great power runner in Harris. I mean, it's. Why would you not? Why would you not run it when you need 10 or less, 9 or less yards? I'd run it every time, and they did that without him.
He had a catch yesterday.
He
had a catch yesterday for 9 yards too.
Well, I mean, it's the same issue that I talked to you about the Cowboys having, is they try to get too cute when their team is a great running game, great offensive line, 2 great running backs, great defense, run the ball. You know, but we get it masked, we get it blanketed more because Dak's so good. Mac Jones is a rookie, so like you said, he's going to have those rookie games.
But I think he's going to come into his own. But we have that running back depth that the Cowboys have. We have that, and all I want is for us to use it until we figure out what we're doing at receiver. Because tight end's not the issue. We got that solved. I'm happy with Smith and Henry, but it's the receivers. We need to get more, because Kendrick Bourne's good. Jacoby Myers is good. Aguilar's okay. N'Keal Harry's only good in the run game. And then after that, nobody. Gunner is a return guy, and Matthew Slater is a special teams player exclusively. We need that standout number 1 wideout. That'll solve everything.
Right.
Which and do you have a first round draft pick this year? Am I correct? How they look draft wise this year? Okay, and be interesting to see.
I know who I want them to pick. I want them to pull a Bengals, and I want them to get an Alabama receiver. I don't think they're going to get the top guy. I want John Rechie the third. I think we can get him. I think he can do that for us. And then I think we just got to focus on cornerbacks and linemen. You know.
What about David Bell from Purdue? He's been dubbed the next Jerry Rice by Jerry Rice.
I mean,
you make a run of him for the spoiler makers.
So I like the story of, pairing college players that balled out together, but I will trust them to get the best option, no matter who that is. If it's David Bell, get David Bell. It's whoever they think, but I'm all for it. I like a little spicy story with my football. Jamar Chase going with Joe Burrow. You got Jalen Waddle going with Tua. Jalen Hurts with Devontae Smith. It's cool. It makes it more personal, but at the end of the day, give me someone good.
And David Bell. Look up his tape.
I'll take David Bell. I wanted Rondale Moore this year. Mm-hmm. We didn't get a receiver till the 7th. I wanted Rondale Moore. I wanted Daz Newsome, somebody, and we waited until the 7th to get one. And I was, I hope Trey Nixon develops well.
I want to quickly let me quickly salute David Piccolo. Salute to you, David Piccolo. Hope you're doing good. RT Basketball and Queen's Court Stephanie. Salute. Thank you for stopping by. I hope your holidays as well. Many blessings to you, and I appreciate the love that you give. And we'll always go check out Queen's Court as well. So salute to you, Stephanie. I appreciate it. Go ahead, Kyle. Thank you for letting me.
No. Thank you for letting me on the show. I'm just happy to be here. I wanted to give you a little fun fact. I've made a decision. I'm joining the Knicks squad as a fan. I had no team.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Because I've been watching.
Welcome aboard.
I've been watching a lot of a YouTube show, Knicks Nights, that's hosted by my boy Jigga, and the way they talk about the Knicks on there, it's so passionate and it's so logical that I'm like, I want to be a part of this. So now I'm looking at a jersey. I'm thinking I get Jeremy Lin. And that's the one, because that's the biggest name from when I was growing up.
Right.
I remember Linsanity. What a 2-week span that was.
Well, welcome to the Knicks family. Hopefully the Jedi Sports Network. I do the watch alongs here. We do the play-by-play, and we also have the podcast as well. And I know Jigga Man's doing his thing there too. And
fun fact, since I proclaimed it, we've gone 3-1. I'm thinking there's something.
You're already
there.
Saying we.
Yeah, I'm already saying we. I hopped on the train and we went we're 3-1 right now. All right.
Oh God.
Are we gonna get a bing bong from Kyle?
Oh, bing bong.
Look
Absolutely.
at that, guys. We got a Nick converter here, folks. So just for that, we need to run the thumbs up because we got a Knicks converter, a new fan. So let's get that thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to neither one of our channels, give a subscribe because this is breaking news. This is the Force, the Jedi Force, and the Jigga Man portal. Was it Frankie that convinced you?
A little bit. A little bit. We had a talk on the side, and I was like, I'm really thinking about becoming a Knicks fan. He's like, you should do it. It's gonna be a struggle. It's not gonna be
Is that
easy.
what he said?
But they're good people, and I was like, you right.
And Queen Score says, "Welcome to the pain."
Yeah, I was gonna say, why would you do that to yourself?
Because I think I've had it good for too long, and I need to humble myself. And being this for a long time, I didn't really follow basketball, and I'm around people that do, and I'm like, maybe I should watch it. Who should I follow? And everyone I've talked to has been Knicks.
Robert Parr, salute to you. Oh, okay.
Sorry, Z.
No, go ahead.
It's just a force of habit.
No, go ahead. But as far as have you picked a college team yet, Kyle, for football?
For football, Notre Dame.
Nah, come on, they're not even a conference.
I don't care.
Come on. I like Kev over here to be a Michigan fan.
They're my number 2. Michigan's my
number 2.
Pretty
good job. Doing a good job.
Like, but, I'm happy for Harbaugh, and I don't want to Michigan's my number 2. I don't really know. All the small schools are below that. Like I'm very happy for Cincinnati because you don't see them in the top 4 a lot.
We're going to convert you to a UCF. Golden Knights. Oh, I am a Golden Knights fan. No, they're good. They're good. Trust me. They're going to be a top program in the nation.
College basketball, you'll hate me for this. I've been a Duke boy for a while.
Oh, that's okay. RJ Barrett. You're gonna like it because RJ Barrett for the Knicks. He's from Duke, so
I know.
So you're gonna like that. And then when Zion Williamson comes aboard to the Knicks, he's also from Duke.
Yeah,
and Cam Reddish as well. So you'll be Duke. You'll be well represented in a few years on the Knicks. You'll fit right in.
As long as Jenny Craig's the team trainer, we'll be all right when Zion gets here.
I mean, I already I liked Randall and Kemba before I became a Knicks fan because I just followed players. I didn't follow teams. And then I'm like, you know what? Might as well.
Yes, indeed. Robert Parr with the salute. Yes, absolutely. Much respect for Zach getting that credit. It's well due indeed. Speaking of celebration.
Speaking of basketball, do you want to transition over to that, Kev? Or
yeah, let's go. Let's go with the basketball. We'll talk some basketball. Let's go with the elephant in the room with the Alvin Gentry. Zach, we'll lead you with that story. Let you lead that story.
So as far as the Kings are concerned, Kyle, you don't have to watch basketball very long to know the Kings are a dumpster fire.
I knew that before I even started watching.
So since Luke Walton was fired, due to the lack of defense, that was way, 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 way too far overdue as far as it goes for Luke Walton. When he was fired, the Alvin Gentry from the Pelicans, from the Golden State Warriors, when they won a ring, good assistant coach, was an okay head coach. There's an article broken out by ESPN. Gentry sounded off on his team, saying the most disappointed he's ever been in 34 years of his basketball experience. Calling it absolutely ridiculous. It's the most disappointed I've been in 34 years in the NBA. I can honestly say that. That performance was absolutely ridiculous. We didn't play hard. We didn't compete. We didn't guard the ball. We didn't screen and roll. We didn't follow the game plan. No competitiveness whatsoever. They basically toyed with us. I'm completely disappointed, depressed, and everybody in this building should be disappointed and depressed after getting blown out. And it's not every day you hear a professional head coach, honestly, on the interim basis, trying to keep a job with the Kings. You don't hear people say those things, especially about guys that are professionals in an 82-game season. I mean, what's going on with the Kings?
Go ahead, Kyle. I'll let you go ahead.
He's the coach. I mean, even with little that I know, it's the Kings. And I think on some level, any coach or GM that goes in there knows that it's going to be an uphill battle. So that should already kind of bring some kind of viewpoint if you take that job. Like, this is not going to be easy. These guys have sucked for a while. Being blown out by 25 points doesn't surprise anybody when they look at the Kings. I'm not surprised. It's the Kings. They're early 2000s Browns. of the NBA right now. They are just bad, and everyone's gotten used to it. What you got to wow us with is what are you going to do with that? Because at the end of the day, you're at the top. If you're disappointed in what the team is, you have to, now I want to see him try and win a game. Like, if he wants to stay coach, make changes, mess around, see what works, what doesn't. If you're just going to say I'm disappointed and then do nothing, the problem, you're a part of it now.
Mm-hmm.
You're not part of the solution if you're going, I'm disappointed in these guys. You're the coach.
But the thing is, with that, sorry to cut you off too much, Kyle, just from a coach's perspective, because I've coached for 6 years, not NBA, of course. I'm not a professional, but
no, sure.
When you can have a great game plan, you can make adjustments, you can do just about anything possible, but you don't play the games. If you're not following the game plan, which was part of the interview, if they're not following the game plan, if they're not executing it, if they're not guarding the basketball, if they're not playing with intensity and energy and effort, especially as a young team that plays off a pace and with shooting, if you're not doing and if you're not even giving an effort, what can you do as a coach to change that? Other than call them out and see how they respond.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see what they do, especially from just a team standpoint. Like, whenever you see a team that's down in the dumps, I'll use this year's Texans as an example. They got absolutely bonkered by Bill O'Brien, and they're winning games that no one thought they should or could. And I think the Kings need those confidence boosting games because that's where they're at right now. Like, they're just down bad. People are talking about them getting rid of two of their top guys. I think Marvin Bagley should come to the Knicks. Hey,
I got a fan on that. I've been saying that since last year.
I love Marvin Bagley, but and he needs a fresh start. Maybe it's with the Knicks. I don't know. They need a big confidence boosting win to show that there is something to work off of, that something can go right. They can score the points. They're not they need to honestly just have a sit down and really think, do we want to blow it up and do we want to just start over, or do we want to try and salvage any pieces from this that we can? I say blow it up.
Yeah, they need to blow it up because they've been doing the same thing. And we were talking about the Giants and before, hamster wheel of turds. All you're doing is running around in a hamster wheel of turds. And that's what the Sacramento Kings have been doing. In the hamster wheel of turds, they need to try something different. Change the narrative. Sometimes you might have to take a step back to take two leaps forward, as we saw with the New York Knicks. We took a couple steps back a lot. I mean, 20 years and now we're trying to see if we could take a step forward. Right now, stuck in neutral. But with the Kings going forward, they got pieces that are enticing, but I don't, and Alvin Gentry, everywhere he's gone, he has some really bad teams though. And sometimes you get a reputation on preceding yourself, you see coaches jump from place to place and they think, and that's why, they believe in him, or, at the beginning, and then you see what it is. That's why I'm another one in the beginning of the season. I don't like Nate McMillan with the Atlanta Hawks. I don't think the Hawks are going to make the playoffs. Because McMillan, I seen that picture, that story before with a Nate McMillan. Good interim coach, come in, get some guys going, and then give him a full year, give him a couple, and it's just gonna go because they are like Danny Green says, they are who say they are, and we left them off the hook.
They are who we thought they were,
and I think that's what's gonna happen here with Gentry. They just need a whole revamp, and also not for nothing, Sacramento. I call them Sacramento Kings, but the Sacramento. That's not on a sexy, place to go play and want to go move. Taxes are high as a head coach, want to live in. You're in the spotlight of the Golden State Warriors right now, and it's just not appeasing. And, it's like, Lakers, Clippers, and then you're like the third, fourth option in that whole state. And it's like, do you really, no matter who you could say Shaq owns a part of the team or whatever the case, if he's still Divox, whoever they could bring, and it's like, man, that's a tough sell if you would say Sacramento, or do I go to one of the actually Houston team? Even Houston looks more because of the state taxes, young talent around them. It's like, so it's tough to see on that with Sacramento. We'll see if they'll be a big player to ship players around and trade. And we'll see. Keep an eye on that team. I would like the Knicks. Of course, we all would like DeAndre Fox. Me, I've been calling for Marvin Bagley for a while. To come here. I think he'll do really good. 6'11", small forward who could play the power small, or you give him in the center and who could shoot,
He's a
the
center
outside
attitude.
stretch. Yeah. It'll be interesting. So, Zach, talk to me about the Los Angeles Lakers.
The Lakers are a collection of talent, but not the right talent. You have Russell Westbrook's been second fiddle before. He's been top dog before. He's been even third fiddle at times behind Harden, even though Harden was sixth man in Oklahoma City. But it's not him as far as his ego goes. Don't blame Russell Westbrook because he knows how to defer to a Kevin Durant, so he knows how to defer to a LeBron. LeBron James, top guy. And there's no explanation about LeBron. But Dwight Howard's been here before. All these guys have been here before and have won championships. Anthony Davis, all of those guys, they've all won before with LeBron, short of Russell Westbrook. And so it's not the chemistry. They all understand who they are as players. They all understand who they are as teammates and who's top dog. But the thing is, there's no shooting. And when you're playing, when you have LeBron James and Russell Westbrook, when both of those guys are most deadly is when they're surrounded by shooters. And your best two shooters are Anthony Davis, who's never on the floor. And when he is, he's streaky. And Carmelo Anthony, Knicks fans know how that worked out. And same Portland Trailblazer fans know how that worked out. Oklahoma City fans know how that worked out. You don't have shooting. You let go of guys like Alex Caruso. You let go of guys like Kyle Kuzma, even though he was streaky. He was a good bench player. You lost bench depth, lost bench scoring. You're not getting much out of your guys that you brought back from the title run, like Rondo, like Howard. It's just a mixed bag. Is LeBron going to carry the team on his back, or is he going to let Russell Westbrook carry the team on his back through the regular season? As talking with KPG always says, he's a Lakers fan. He says he thinks that they should run Russell Westbrook ragged because you know how good he is in the regular season, getting triple doubles, leading teams to the playoffs. Let him carry the load, and then come postseason time, let LeBron be the closer, let LeBron be the number one guy, if that makes sense, and get you to the championship. But until they figure it out, as far as just basketball wise on the floor, X's and O's, they're in jeopardy of missing the play-in.
I think with the Lakers, you touch a good part there. I don't think Westbrook fits that, and they wanted him. They all wanted to bring him in here. They wanted him in the team. Something is not fitting, and also, Kendrick Nunn is he on witness protection? Where is he?
Even since his last year in Miami, he hasn't done anything in last year in Miami.
He's in witness protection. You also, missing Melo is good, but he wasn't supposed to be playing those kind of minutes for the Lakers. He was supposed to come in, play, high pace, high energy type, from assassin, a shooter coming in for 15, 17 minutes a game. He's out there asking more than what he could really give. I think Melo could still provide a good scoring for the Lakers, but not in the role that he's being put in right now with the Lakers. Also, the signings in the offseason, they were too busy trying to bring so many players. They're missing the black and blue guys, like you said, Caruso, and guys that will go in there and roll up their sleeves, get in there, fight for the 50-50 balls, hustle, set some picks, play some defense, Cartanius Pope, another pain in the ass, in there, and he's missing. Montrezl Harrell, another one we saw him firsthand against what he did to the Knicks the other night, the 23rd, and it was just a pain in the neck in the paint, setting screens, just being a pest. And they're missing that guys that wanted to do the dirty work, that will go in there and do the black and blue, get dirty for LeBron, and let LeBron be the shining Ferrari to run right by, and let the pickup trucks they'll do the whole and move the towing trucks, move all the cars out of the way so the Ferrari could run.
And that's what I'm saying. They need to make Russell Westbrook part of that black and blue, part of that truck. They need to make him one of the workhorses to do all the dirty work and just let LeBron be what he is. And let the rest of Anthony Davis be what he is. Because, Anthony Davis, his rebounding, he's terrible. He's a 7-footer, and he had a span of 12 games this year where he averaged under 4 rebounds a game. You're a 7-footer, and I know he can play on the perimeter, but when you can be as dominant of a force as Anthony Davis has been, you got to get your big body in there and get some rebounds, or you're worthless.
There's an element to LA that I think, because I've seen a lot of anger on the benches on them towards each other. When you have that many good guys, when you have a super team, your expectations and especially with LeBron, you get you used to success, and if you don't meet that level that you know you can be, it's gonna build up this tension of whose fault is it. You know, instead of just like, because I can't say they're a normal team when you like, they're like the Nets in the sense that they have put together a super team to try and dominate. Well, when you have a super team, you have these large expectations. So you either work harder or you are going to buckle under the pressure of expectations that you cannot meet because somebody is in denial or someone's doing something wrong. Like you guys said, they're not using Melo the way that he can be successful. They're using Melo how, they think will work, but it's not working. And I think I saw people throwing Westbrook under the bus. I don't think it's Westbrook's fault. I think you have a lot of stars that are not playing like stars. And
Yeah,
so
because they're all 45 years old.
Exactly. So they're
and they all know how to be alpha dogs. They all know how to be alpha dogs. And sometimes it's hard for the adjustments. And we saw that, not to that degree, but just a little bit with the New York Knicks, with the alpha dog mentality. Kemba Walker was the alpha dog anywhere he went. Julius Randle now is the alpha dog in New York. You also have Evan Fournier in the French national team coming off, a really good national team run for his nation, for his country. And also you had RJ, I don't think RJ Barrett was an alpha dog, but he was always groomed to be, top fiddle and taking that next step. And you have all those, and they have to learn how to step aside and play within each other and make their games fit like a puzzle. And I think Los Angeles is going through that. I think, there's a lot of talks now, trades of Russell Westbrook. His name is mentioned to Philadelphia was one of the names for Ben Simmons. New York was also rumored, so the rumor mill is starting to come out strong. Westbrook is an interesting piece, although makes too much money, but he's been moved before in the past 3 times. Would it surprise me they move him again? Yes, they even had talks Los Angeles thinking about trading LeBron James, the best player on the planet right now, or the third best player in the league right now. His name is up, and it's crazy times, folks.
Yeah, I don't know anybody that would have. If you would have told me the season would have went this way to let's just say by Christmas time, I wouldn't have wanted to believe you. Like the way this season is shaking out has just been bad with all the COVID bull crap, with everybody in protocols, everybody missing games. You're getting to see Joe Johnson, 40-year-old Joe Johnson on a hardship. Who wants to see that? No offense to Joe Johnson, love watching him play in his prime, but who wants to see all these guys? Isaiah Thomas come back, really? Like you want to see the people that are playing. You want to see these teams play at the strength of their powers. Even being a Knicks fan, you want to see us go against a healthy Lakers team and try to beat them, or a healthy Hawks team and try to beat them on Christmas Day. This season has just been a bummer. It's been a clunker, and I think in this new year, 2022, this season needs to finish strong. And I think LeBron James and them, I think they'll eventually get it together to be in the top 6 and be in a playoff. I just don't think they're going to get to the finals.
Oh no, I don't see a finals appearance for the Lakers. It's so much uphill battle. You got teams that are starting to play a little good, and San Antonio's put 144 points yesterday. They're I'm not saying they're going to be the world beaters, but right now the Golden State Warriors phenomenal record. G Money, the notorious G Money's Phoenix Suns playing well. There's a lot of good teams strong in the West. That the Lakers have to try to overcome and leapfrog. And if these guys can't figure it out, they stay, before trading deadline, and they stay as pat as it is, I don't see the Lakers getting to the NBA final. Could they make noise in the playoffs? Of course, when you have a LeBron James, anything is possible. Winning a round or 2, and he could, we could tell he could carry a team. He could just empty the tank out and just put his team on their back and take them to a Western Conference final. And I think he'll run out of gas, in my opinion, if other guys don't step up. But anything is possible with that. And right. Speaking of anything is possible, who in the world thought that on Christmas Day, 12 o'clock at the world's most famous arena, the Bronx native, Kemba Walker, will get the first ever New York Knicks triple-double. 10 points, 10 rebounds, 11 assists.
On Christmas Day.
On Christmas Day. Phenomenal.
First Christmas Day triple-double in 52 years.
Ooh, man. And go ahead, Cal.
I was just going to say good for him. Because especially since I got integrated. A lot of talk of just Kemba's not playing up to that potential. Kemba's not, we brought him in and he's not playing like we thought he was going to play. And then he does that. Granted, his triple-double, like the points could have been more, but it's still a triple-double.
He did just drop 45 points the other day in a loss to the
Yeah.
Wizards too.
But
which a fun fact about Kemba before you keep going.
Yeah.
He all-time history of the NBA. In the history of the NBA, he has his teams, Kemba Walker-led teams, have the worst winning percentage when Kemba Walker scores 40 points in a game out of any star. Like let's say second worst all-time is Bradley Beal with the Wizards. When Kemba scores 40 points, his teams are 5-21.
That's weird.
Just a fun stat to throw out there.
I appreciate it. I like fun stats. I'm happy to see him balling out and playing to what we want him to be, but you still want the rest of the team to play what we think they're going to be. Because, like you just said, I don't think Kemba is the go-to guy for points, but I think he's someone that can help us win games. I think I was Mitchell, who I was kind of a little disappointed in. I wanted more. I wanted more out of him, and I think a big thing that was talked about was we need more shooters, especially from the three. Yeah, but I still good for him. Like honestly, that's a cool thing to accomplish.
Yeah, I'm and I mentioned it before on our podcast. That Kemba Walker, for him just to take a step back, and everyone wants to attack the coach. I even heard it on the media. Oh, Thibodeau didn't know what the hell he was doing by sitting. He didn't know what he had by sitting Kemba Walker down. He came in and responded. You know what? Sometimes we need, like we're saying, things happen for a good reason. Sometimes we need to take a step back in life. Sometimes take a breather, calm down, take a breather, relax, let things marinate, let things take a breather, let things play itself out, and then we go at it and get back up and get into the lane. And I think that's what happened with Kemba Walker. They slow them down. This is how we play. You're new to the environment, the culture. Watch how this game is played. See how your teammates adapt, play on the floor without doing this and that. Now I need you to come in and you see what's missing. I need you to help me. That's the job of the point guard, the floor general. I need you guys to help me elevate all the other four players, or in this case, the other 14 players around in this roster, elevate them to be and put in a position to succeed and help their game to the next level. And this is what Kemba Walker's responsibility is now. Mm-hmm. And he's excelling. He's doing, and still is small sample, but there's still more to see. And I think we need to allow him to do that. And if not, he's got him to me personally, I think he's got him to the trading deadline to see what direction they will go.
Yeah, and you want to blame Tibbs, but it's funny because they said he couldn't use him, but now all of a sudden he's dropping 40 burgers. He's getting triple doubles. The team's winning games. And that wasn't all Kemba. That's also, Tom Thibodeau and the coaching staff putting in good game plans. But it was a motivational tactic. We've talked about it on Kev's Return to the Knicks podcast. Great show. Go check it out. We talked about how it could be a motivational tactic. Tibbs benched him to, like you just said, slow him down, make him realize, because they were fighting at ends. And what also the point guard's job is to be an extension of the head coach, what he wants on the floor. So if you and the head coach aren't on the same page, you can't do your job as a point guard. You can't be that extension on the floor. And now that you see that he is, and he's having fun, he understands. Him and Tibbs are having great chemistry moments, high fives on the bench, just cheering each other on. Kemba looked engaged the whole time he was benched as far as cheering his teammates on, being a good teammate. They both handled it like professionals, and the team's better for it. But will we see it against better competition is my worry, because Kemba, as great as he is, he's a 5'11" point guard, maybe with heels on. He's a 5'11" just because he's that short. I know he's rated at 6 foot, but he's not 6 foot tall. And he has a small wingspan, and he's got a degenerative knee disease. He's not a good defender. He wasn't a good defender when he was in his prime. And now with his physical limitations, we need a defensive-minded team for Tom Thibodeau and for this team to be good, because that's what our predicate, that's what our identity was last year. And we need to play better defense, but I like the offense. I like how we move without the ball. I like how we played more of a free-flowing motion offense in recent games. The defense has got to get better.
Trade for Marvin Bagley.
He's another non-defender, but he would help with the offense.
But
score.
With Marvin Bagley, you can't teach his size.
Yeah.
You can that size that'll fix some issues.
Yeah, but
You know?
as also on the defensive end, it's about energy and heart and
Right.
hustle, and that's all the questions of Marvin Bagley in Sacramento.
Yep.
Does he show the heart and the intensity and the grit on defense? And those are things you can't teach, and that's pretty much all it takes when you're his size and as gifted athletically as he is
I
on
honestly
defense.
think it's situational. I think he just give him a fresh start. Give him
I agree.
Yeah,
that
and
passion
I'm
for
not against
basketball.
it.
Like,
I'm not against it at all.
and I think the Knicks could do that.
We talked
Yeah.
about it on the Return of the Knicks podcast. Kev brought it up multiple times, and
Multiple
I like
times.
it. I like it. You know, I like the idea. But and I also like the idea because you're not getting into Marvin Bagley for too much. He's an expiring contract. He's a
Right.
flyer. You keep him for the rest of the season, and if it don't work out, you can offer him a cheap deal. If it does, you can offer him a little bit more expensive deal or another 1 year prove it deal.
Right.
A lot of flexibility.
Right. And then the Knicks got a good schedule coming up. They play tomorrow, Detroit, if I'm not mistaken. Then I'm actually on Minnesota, then Detroit, OKC. So there's some games on their schedule, and they're taking a break. They're getting a break actually. You know, there is for Minnesota, no Karl Anthony Towns, D'Angelo Russell just went in protocol. Anthony Edwards still in protocol. So their top guns, they're getting them at the right time. They're playing teams and with COVID at the right time, while the Knicks themselves are getting players back from the COVID list. We saw the emergence of RJ Barrett, Obi Toppin back in the lineup. You know, hopefully Emmanuel quickly returns back. Quentin Grimes plays some good minutes and playing very well for the New York Knicks on Christmas Day. So they're getting healthy from the COVID restriction list, while other teams are starting to go on that list and starting to get hit by it. So we need to continue to attack and win our games that we need to win on the road. You know, they finished the year, the 2021, on the road before they head back to the Garden, and we'll keep an eye on the New York Knicks going forward if they, you know, if the fortunes turn, and you know, that 41 loss to Kemba Walker could be a turning point. You know, seeing that he's been rejuvenated scoring wise, and can the team feed off him? Can they run the offense, you know, through Kemba Walker and let him felicitate into the team and get everyone involved? And can Julius Randle fall in line with that? Be second fiddle. Let Kemba feed him the game and let him take over when he's fed, not try to force it. We shall see, Kyle. Z? Anything else on the basketball topic before we go into our final?
We covered the Kings, we covered the Lakers, covered the Knicks. I like it.
Well, remember, don't forget to watch BX Sports Jedi Network. Watch along tomorrow. Of Queen Core says, I absolutely love Grimes, and I'll have elaborate more on the podcast on the Return of the Knicks podcast. I'll have to record one for the audio as well, and we have the watch along tomorrow. The Kings, Knicks. It's a big week for the Knicks. We have to turn things around. We'll see if they turn the corner, and we'll keep an eye on the New York Knicks and stay tuned here. And we have to make sure that Randall gets in, like Queen Court says, and we'll see on the New York Knicks. We're all rooting for them. We all want them to win. Trust me, we want them the best for the New York Knickerbockers, and we want hopefully end the season strong and start the new year clean slate and strong again. So we shall see. So tonight we'll go to the final topic of the evening. This is the Capital Collaboration Program on BX Sports Jedi Network, A to Z the Media Network, for the Sports Jedi family and our A to Z Media Nation family. We're going to talk the final subject, which is baseball. You know, baseball is in the strike currently right now. Not much to talk about with free agent signings, but the New York Mets meet the Mets, greet the Mets at the park, and meet the Mets. They signed their 24th manager in franchise history. His name is Buck Showalter, former New York Yankee manager, Texas Ranger, Arizona Diamondback, Baltimore Oriole, a professional, a real man behind managing. No first string, no first time manager going out like Rojas and, you know, the pervert Mickey Callaway. It's now a gentleman, a real man, adult in the room. What's your thought, A to Z, on Buck Showalter hiring for the New York Mets?
Well, we did a podcast that I think was only aired on audio. I don't think it was on YouTube with you, me, and I'm Heel. And I had mentioned back then that the Mets should get a Buck Showalter type manager. And, you know, you had agreed, you had said that it was pretty much a foregone conclusion. And I think it was the best hiring they could have had because it's going to bring everything to a head. And what do I mean by that? I mean that Francisco Lindor seems to be a guy that's a bit of a head case. You know, they had Javi Baez in there who's not anymore, but they had a bunch of guys that are moving parts that are coming in that are big names, big egos, kind of like you guys said about the Lakers. And we said, a lot of different guys, right? A lot of collection of talent, but they need chemistry and they need to shape up or ship out type of thing. And Buck Showalter's a no-nonsense manager. He's not just going to do analytics. He's going to trust his gut. He's going to bring you a manager that's level head, that is great, that is proven. He's certified. You know what I mean? Like he's a great manager for a long time, knows the game. He's forgotten more about the game than all three of us combined will ever know. So it's a really good hiring for the Mets. And they got Chavez as the hitting coach, I think, or the assistant hitting coach, if I'm not mistaken. But they're building a good staff together, and as long as they put it together and the players buy in, I think they'll be a playoff team for years to come.
Right, and five questions for Buck. 5 things that Buck Showalter needs to do. Eric Chavez is the New York Yankees hitting coach. By the way,
I'm sorry.
The New York Yankees. We'll talk just a little bit because not much to talk about with the New York Yankees, but we'll go the 5. My thing, 5 important keys for Buck Showalter to as immediately as manager. 1, he has to build his coaching staff. He needs an experienced manager. He has high price vets with youth. He's a leader of men, winning baseball, and he needs to pick his coaching staff. He needs to get coaching staff like Bobby Dickerson and Ryan Kirby was some of the names out there. Nothing is set in stone. Who is this coaching staff? Well, once the names go by, we'll bring it up. We'll do the Bomber Strike Back podcast, which is Yankee centric, but it's baseball in general. You know me, I cover all New York baseball, and also building a bullpen. You got Edwin Diaz returning, Seth Lugo, Trevor May, Miguel Castro, those kind of names. Now they're going to add through free agency more arms, or they're going to trade. That's one of the second thing that Buck Showalter needs to do. The third thing is figure out if Robinson Cano is useful on the New York Mets. If Buck Showalter has an vision, they could use a Robinson Cano, or will Cohen try to move him pennies on the dollar, get something out of him, some Spalding baseballs or some catcher's mitts, or just eat up the contract, and because he has money to eat the contract. We'll see if Robinson Cano fits the New York Mets plan going forward. And also they need to add a left-handed starter. We all know they're top heavy with Scherzer, Jacob deGrom. You also have Taijuan Walker. They're right-handed dominated. They're gonna need to find a strong quality left-handed, maybe an innings eater, and from the left side for them. And also the other one, do they trade Jeff McNeil? 29-year-old young player, doesn't seem it fits with the chemistry with the New York Mets, or unless Buck can make it work. Those are 5 questions that Buck Showalter needs to address immediately for as soon as taking over the managerial position once the lockout ends. Zach, what's your thoughts on those?
They're just it's very simple. He's a great team builder, like Knicks 100 GM says. It's just he gets fired not long after. He's got to be your guy to build the program. He's definitely got to get a coaching staff around him that delivers the same message he does, that they're on the same page. And Robbie Cano's a wild card. They might end up adding the DH, and if they add the DH in the National League, then you should keep him because he'll always be a good bat. And bullpen, I mean, they tried the free agency route with Dylan Patantis, didn't work. They tried all sorts of different routes. I think they need to continue to get their bullpen from within, from their farm system. Maybe bring in one proven veteran, like a guy, out there, if there is one that's known, he's an inning eater, he's a good guy to have in the bullpen that's been on multiple teams and shows that making that leap in free agency isn't new to him. There's so much flux of the rosters are so much flux right now, and they have so much fluidity. It's a volatile situation. It could go wrong, it could go right, but all I know is they made the right first step in hiring a great head coach in Buck Showalter, one of my favorites. Absolutely.
Cal, anything to add on? Because I know you're not big of baseball savant.
See, there's only one story in baseball that I care about right now, and it's I want Big Papi to be in the Hall of Fame. He's leading the votes right now. That is excellent. All. That's all my mind's at.
And me being a Yankee fan, looking at the Red Sox, which I don't like them, but I think he belongs in the Hall of Fame, and I think he will get consideration, and I think he'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
There's guys in that rivalry that you respect from both sides.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Derek Jeter, David Ortiz. No matter who you are, Yankees fan or not, and Red Sox fan or not, you got to respect Big Papi. What he's done
I'm
in the
I'm
game.
in a weird middle ground because I like the Yankees and the Red Sox. I
I
don't belong. I'm an outcast. I grew up loving the history of baseball, and I love the history of the Red Sox and the Yankees. So I just like
okay.
both of them.
A couple watch-alongs. We know we'll get it.
A couple of beatings. I mean,
I
consider
need to be welcomed into one home.
There's always
you already
room.
went to the Knicks. You got to stay in New York City. Come on.
There's always room for.
I'm still in Boston.
No.
What do you mean?
There's still room for the.
No, you're in New York now.
For you.
I can't be.
Well, we right now the
Giants too much.
As I hide my Texas jersey, I have.
No, wait. The MLB is currently in the lockout, folks. Nothing to speak about. Sides have not even sat down and met. Although when they do sit down and meet, guarantees is going to come in for a coffee order and a bagel order, and then they're going to leave. So this looks like it's going to be prolonged. So once there's more news, we'll get more baseball news there because there's a lot of questions that we need the New York Yankees to answer. Who's their shortstop? What they're going to do? They haven't done anything. So we're going to wrap up there. But before we wrap up, I just want to make one note. The United States hockey team has named former New York Ranger Dan Quinn as their head coach. John Van Beesbrook is the general manager. There is going to be no NHL players going to Beijing for the Olympics this year. They're going to send the amateur players. They don't want to stop the NHL season to go into Beijing and not only just give them ratings in China. It's all political crap, but also they don't want, also with the COVID and all the restrictions, they don't want to put their NHL league in jeopardy, put them in a bubble, so forth. So salute to former head coach, Ranger head coach Dan Quinn. I watched him last year. Good head coach. Good luck. I'm coaching Team USA, and that's I wanted to elaborate more on NHL, but we have time prescriptions. We got places to be and things to do. So we're going to leave the stream here. So I want to thank everyone that joined us for this first inaugural collaboration of just talking sports, all the sports, all the time here. I salute to Stephanie Queen Squad Queen. I'm going to get a hold of you so we could come on and do a Knicks round table with myself, Chef Dan, and Z, or whoever who has the time they're able to. And I have some. Actually, Chef Dan wants to have a round table discussion with you. He has an idea, basketball idea that I know you'll love with his idea. I want to salute GM Knicks 100. Kyle, thank you so much for blessing our program and being a part of it. Always welcome to always come on and talk football. Now Knicks, come on to you want to do a watch along, just be there and laugh. You're more than welcome. You just got to hit me up. I'll send you the link. Robert Parr, the main man. Salute to Robert Parr, David Piccolo, Kelvin T. Jones, the mod cop. Talking KGP. Check them out. Talking KGP. Check them, my friends, out. Our good friend. They're on my feature on my channel. Hit them up. Subscribe. We're trying to get them also up in subscription like ZACK. So don't forget A to Z Media. Hit those likes. Subscribe to his channel. We need a G-Man for life. Salute. RT Basketball. My main man is working out. Hope you're having a good workout. My main man. White Falcon. I appreciate you. John Hoff. Thank you so much out there in Canada. So salute to you. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate, everyone that joined us. We appreciate it. Zach, say our goodbyes and we get out of here, my man.
I just wanted to thank you, everybody that tuned in from A to Z Media Network. And hopefully you subscribe to Bronx Sports Jedi, and hopefully the same thing. We collaborate with each other, network, and also follow Kyle at KS Realm on Twitter. Right? Is that right? Yep. Kyle? Did I get that right?
Okay. KS Realm Kyle.
Yep. On Twitter, he does good things over there. Follow Talking with KPG. Help all these networks grow. I mean, we're all here. We're all doing it because we love talking football with each other. And we love talking basketball and baseball and everything with each other. We do this for free. We do this because we love doing it. And we give it to you guys and we like doing it. So if you guys don't mind reciprocating and liking this for BX Sports Jedi, liking it for A to Z, subscribing to both. There's enough subscriptions to go around. There's enough likes to go around. And and there's enough follows on Twitter. And I just help us reach more people, because if it wasn't for all this stuff, the three of us would have never met. So if we could put more good people together, good minds together, more networking, it'd be a great thing. So just appreciate everybody for coming through. And thank you as always, Kyle.
Of course. Happy to be here.
All right. So we'll see you next time, folks. Many blessings. May the sports be with you. May the Knicks be with you. And we'll see you on the next time.